I can't even start.
I feel so lost. This is so hard.
I can't do this. This is so hard.
I give up.
All the beautiful things around us is meant to spark that itch of creativity within us. But there comes a point when you have just gotten an amazing idea. You feel great just thinking about it. You write it down in your journal just so you don't forget. But when you're about to start the process of creating it, you just freeze. You can't even take the first step. Creativity is an important part of what makes us humans. We are designed to create and come up with new ideas. But oftentimes we go through these episodes of creative anxiety in our creative process. We start to doubt ourselves of what we are creating. We begin questioning the worth of not only the thing that we are building, but also our own creative potential. We start to feel less motivated and begin procrastinating more, which ends up taking us away from our creativity. Why does this happen? Maybe we are afraid of not meeting society's expectations of what a creative thing should be. Maybe we are afraid of people's judgments on our creativity. Or maybe we are not giving ourselves permission to be in the creative process because we are just so busy in meeting the life's demands. But what exactly is creative anxiety? Creative anxiety is not a disease. It's the struggle that we face when we set out on a mission to build something from nothing. Most of the time, we romanticize that being creative is this perfect state of mind to be in. It is true, but creativity also demands hard work. Let's face it, if you're trying out something new or trying to give a new spin to something that is already existing, of course we're going to face challenges. But we should accept these challenges as part of the fun, as part of the creative process. Solving these problems and overcoming these challenges is the real proof of our creativity rather than the final outcome. The biggest challenge is often at the very beginning when we are just starting out. Feelings of overwhelm, procrastination, and self-doubt can ruin the confidence in our creativity. In a recent research done by A. Bullock-Moore, B. Tribe, and S. Forster, the researchers tested the hypothesis that creative anxiety is a result of people feeling pressured to be creative. They found out that the participants who are already low in creative anxiety performed better when they were aware that their creativity is being measured. On the other hand, participants who are suffering through high levels of creative anxiety took the instructions as a threat, and their output was affected. This shows that people with high levels of creative anxiety often doubt their creative abilities and consider any new projects as threats rather than opportunities. So, how can we manage our creative anxiety? I play music for fun. But whenever I'm working on a new project or a new composition, I go through creative anxiety at a severe level. Particularly, I feel pressured when I'm working with a group and I get put on spot to come up with something while everyone is there. That is not a comfortable situation. Lately, I've been trying this technique that has helped me significantly in dealing with my creative anxiety. All it takes is 10 to 15 minutes out of your day to freely write in your journal. This technique is called expressive writing. This is a perfect opportunity for people with high levels of creative anxiety to put our hearts out by writing and expressing how we feel. It is like having your own personal therapist at your disposal right in your backpack whenever you need someone to listen to you. As creatives, we go through a stream of emotions on a daily basis, especially the negative ones. This next strategy helps us manage these negative emotions by changing the way we look at a situation. It's called cognitive reappraisal. It's natural for our mind to always think of negative thoughts when we are faced with a problem or a challenge. But just by changing our perspective towards it and looking at it from a positive lens can be really good for our overall mental health. For instance, This is something I've started practicing recently. Whenever I face with any confusion in any project I'm working on, I try to remind myself that it's not that I can't do it. I just haven't done it yet. The simple shift from I can't to I haven't yet can make a huge difference. Dr. Carol Dweck's concept of the power of yet highlights this beautifully in her book Mindset. By embracing this possibility of growth, we open ourselves up to new opportunities and reduce our anxiety. Now, as simple as it may sound, this is not an easy practice. It takes a lot of time. But eventually it will come naturally to you, and you'll always find yourself thinking positively. The final technique I would like to share is to start practicing your creativity in a less risky environment. When the stakes are not that high, we start to get comfortable with our creative process, and it increases our confidence in taking more risks. Creativity doesn't always have to be this masterpiece that you create. Even solving little everyday challenges is also applying our creative potential. One reason we feel anxious is because there are high expectations for our creative standards. But we can always start small and appreciate the little efforts we make. Studies have shown that if we see creativity as a skill that can be trained, we can reduce our levels of creative anxiety. So all we need to do is start involving ourselves deliberately in creative activities. Let's find some everyday problems to solve and come up with new ideas and solutions, and see our confidence grow. Trust the process and don't worry about the final outcome. This daily practice can help build our creative confidence to take on much larger and complex problems to solve. Remember, creativity is an ongoing journey. It's not the final destination. So let's enjoy every bit of it. Feeling anxious during our creative work does not mean that we lack creativity or we are any less creative than the people we know of. Any creative work is meant to suffer through these anxious moments, because the process of creativity is always full of chaos and confusion. But what's in our control is to learn how to manage these negative emotions and these feelings of anxiety. We need to realize and understand that these episodes of anxiety are temporary and they're eventually going to go away. The more we accept this reality, the stronger we get in our mindset in dealing with these negative emotions. So let's start using these techniques, and let me know of your experience, how it is helping you dealing with your creative anxiety. Stay tuned for more interesting videos on the topic of creativity.